Dallas Clark can get spaghetti and meatballs today for $5.
I have to do it.
The great Dallas Clark joins us live at Marabella's here on Fire Tower Road this morning. Dallas has become quite a novelist. Of course, we've had him on the show many times, but his books have become pretty famous and won national awards. Dallas was a famous lawyer here in Greenville for many years and very instrumental in the history of Greenville Country Club and done so many other great things for our community. But then he retired to Cypress Glen and started writing books.
Yep.
Who knew?
I sure didn't.
But, I mean, you've done a great job. This is your third novel.
Yep.
And this one is called The Mind of Dan MacAvoy.
Yep.
And my wife just read it, and she thinks it was your best book.
I've heard that, Henry. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I've had 2 or 3 people tell me
You're getting
that.
better. But, you know, I read the first 2. I haven't read this one yet. But, you know, I told you what I said about the first one. I thought it was like a John Grisham novel.
That was a compliment to me, an insult to him.
So what's this one about? The Mind of Dan MacAvoy.
Well, I wanted to do something different. The other 2 books first one involved Marines and followed my brief career in the Marines as a lawyer. And then I transitioned in the second book from Marine to civil, living here as a lawyer in Greenville. Old Greenville, 1970, 71. A lot of people who lived here and grew up here enjoyed that part of it because it was a wonderful place.
So you write about Greenville in the early 70s?
Yeah. And that's when this book is set, which created a problem in the book. What I wanted to do was something, my hero name is Woody White. He's a lawyer.
By the way, Woody White is Dallas's alter ego.
There you go. There you go. But I wanted to write about somebody that was disturbed. And in my practice, I had a couple of cases where folks were manic depressive, which is an awful thing to happen. And that was just too sophisticated for me to write about. And one day somebody said PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome disorder. And so I decided that would be the problem that the main character had. And so this book starts out in a situation where a guy goes to.
By the way, Sal is now bringing up pizzas that Nino made for us.
Man,
stop bringing food, Sal! For crying out loud, this is getting ridiculous.
How long can we stretch this thing out here? Anyway,
Thank you, Sal. Thank you.
This guy is in a foxhole in Vietnam, and his best buddy gets killed, and he goes to see the parents of his best buddy. And he all this time coming back from Vietnam, he's had headaches and sleep disorders. I did some research to find out what that sort of PTSD kind of thing did to him. Nightmares. So the book starts out. My theory is if you grab somebody in the first chapter, they'll keep reading.
Yeah.
So this one starts out. He's leaving the home of the parents of his deceased buddy, and he's told him how his buddy died. You don't know as a reader how his buddy died because that's later in the book. That keeps you turning the pages, I hope. So he had no way to know that these difficulties not only would not go away, they would escalate. But he knew one good thing. He would never again have to tell the story of Jimmy Allen's last night when he was killed by the NVA and how he then saved Dan's life. Only he would in a courtroom to save his own life.
So does Woody now represent him?
Yes, he gets appointed to represent him.
Okay.
First murder case in
oh man, I want to read this.
It's a good trial. I love to do the trial stuff. Of course, I did that for 40 years, and so it comes fairly easily to me. And takes me back to the days of yesteryear when we were young and could run and play golf.
I have an appreciation for you guys. I told you I saw my daughter-in-law argue a case before the Supreme Court the other day, and I was like, man, I don't know if I can do that because they're firing questions at her.
Yeah, she did a good job. You were nice enough to send me the the tape, and she did a very,
Did
very
you
nice
ever
job.
did you ever argue a case before the Supremes?
I was up there in a case, but didn't argue. I was one of the lawyers, but somebody else
Yeah.
put
Very intimidating.
put me on the
procedure.
bench. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. All right, so the book is out. It's called The Mind of Dan MacAvoy. It's the latest Woody White legal thriller. If you've enjoyed the first two books by Dallas Clark, you're going to enjoy this one. And again, I think that if you had Random House or somebody publishing you, you'd be a nationally famous author by now because these books are great.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know how, one of the hardest things about this thing is getting the PR out about it.
Yeah.
I've got some book signings set up and book clubs. They're all nice. But from a national or even a regional perspective, as a self-publishing author, it's tough to get it going. But I'm having a good time with it. That's all that matters.
So if people want to have you at their club, you would love to come speak.
Absolutely. I got Jeff Glenn has put some books in her place.
At Jefferson's
Jefferson.
Yeah.
Matt Scully at the Scullery's got some books in his place. You can buy them there. Barnes & Nobles now has them on their shelf. And I've got some.
So you
can order them on Amazon.
Are you going to do a book signing at Barnes & Noble anytime soon?
Yeah, so May the 8th, I think it is.
Okay.
No, May the 18th.
All right.
Right
Fantastic.
after Mother's Day, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I can't wait to read it.
I hope you'll enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed it enough to bring me back and let's talk about the guts of the book.
All right, we'll do it.
Book. We won't give any hints. No.
Let people get out there first and get the book.
Absolutely.
It's called The Mind of Dan MacAvoy, Dallas Clark's new book, and you can get it now at Barnes & Noble. You can order it. And Sal, have you read any of Dallas's books? This guy writes incredible books. Amazing author. Yeah. Yeah.
They're not as good as your pizza, but they're pretty damn good. Anyway.
I was going to say, and Sal, will you stop bringing food out here, please?
Okay.
All right. Anything else you want to mention right now?
No, except I was interested in hearing PJ and talking about Greenville. I grew up here. I came here in '52, I think it was, and this is a heck of a good place to live.
They should have you do one of these 250th videos that we're doing down at City Hall.
I'd love to because Henry 10th Street was 2-lane. Red Banks Road was dirt road. Little League Park wasn't what it is today, but it was a great place. Neely James got all of us playing baseball. It's just been a great place, and we got our class reunion lunch coming up.
Rose High?
And 61. Class of 61,
yeah.
And we were talking about what a good time we had growing up. The music was great. You didn't have to worry about being left alone and having DSS come to your house to see if you were an abused, neglected child.
Yeah.
The days of yesteryear.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a great place. It really was. Very lucky.
Hey, man, thanks for coming out here.
Thank you, Henry.
All right,
I appreciate it.
I'm going to turn you loose on some of that food over there. You need to help us get rid of that.
Thank you much.
Good to see you,
Y'all have a
Dallas
good
Clark.
day.